This video will explain everything you need to know about the awarding organisation processes, procedures and regulations when delivering NCFE Level 2 Certificate in Equality and Diversity. Qualification structure. The NCFE Level 2 Certificate in Equality and Diversity is structured as follows. Unit 1. Equality and Diversity in Society. Unit 2. Equality and Diversity in the Community. Unit 3. Equality and Diversity in the Workplace. All three units are internally assessed, which means that the pressure exams is removed. Learners will compile a portfolio of evidence by completing the written assessments provided in their iAchieve learning materials. As long as their work demonstrates achievement of all the learning outcomes and assessment criteria associated with each unit, then the qualification can be awarded to the learner. There are no grading scales or marking systems to be applied when assessing learners' work. Work is simply marked as either a pass or not yet achieved. To be awarded the NCFE Level 2 Certificate in Equality and Diversity, learners are required to successfully complete all three mandatory units. Within the Level 2 Certificate in Equality and Diversity, there is also flexibility for learners to drop down and achieve a Level 2 award by completing only Unit 1 Equality and Diversity in Society. This means that if learners are struggling to complete the full Level 2 certificate course, they can still be certified for one unit and achieve a qualification. Becoming an NCFE approved centre. First, you will need to become an NCFE approved centre for delivering the NCFE Level 2 Certificate in Equality and Diversity. Do this by visiting QualHub and choosing the option that relates to you. If you are already approved as a centre for delivering other NCFE qualifications, you will most likely gain approval for Equality and Diversity without needing a centre visit. And you will be notified of your approval by email in one working day. If you are not approved already for delivering other NCFE qualifications, whether you're an approved centre with other awarding organisations or not, you will likely need to have an approval visit. NCFE will advise you of this when you apply for approval on QualHub. They will also advise you what you will need to prepare for the visit. Once your visit has taken place, you should be notified of your approval by email within 5 working days. Please note NCFE charge an annual centre approval fee of £500. This is per school, not per qualification. Registering learners. Once you have gained your NCFE centre approval, you can then register learners onto your chosen qualification, in this case the NCFE Level 2 Certificate in Equality and Diversity. To do this, you will need to log in to the NCFE portal, which you will be given access to upon your centre approval. Registering your learners will trigger the allocation of your external quality assurer. Your external quality assurer will support you by ensuring assessed evidence meets nationally agreed standards and that your quality assurance system continues to meet the NCFE Centre approval criteria. Internal assessments. The internal assessments take the form of Microsoft Word documents, and learners will access these assessment documents within their Equality and Diversity learning materials on the iAchieve platform. The assessment documents can be printed out and used in a paper-based fashion, or they can be completed electronically and uploaded to the iAchieve platform for marking. Teachers may then log in and mark electronic versions of completed assessments on the platform. This creates a nice audit trail and it allows work to be easily stored as well. It also makes it easier for the internal moderator within the school to be able to log in and view completed evidence to check that assessment decisions are fair and accurate. There are marking guidelines on the platform to support you with marking the work. The internal quality assurance ensures that marking is consistent and accurate across all learners. As mentioned earlier, none of the internal assessments for the qualification are graded. They are simply a pass or not yet achieved. This really helps to make the marking more straightforward, as you are not looking for the nuances that differentiate between grades, but simply trying to determine whether the learner has demonstrated achievement of all the learning outcomes and assessment criteria associated with each unit. Learners must meet every learning outcome and assessment criteria in order to pass each unit, but they can submit their work to you multiple times in order to achieve this. When a learner submits work to you for marking, it is a good idea to give your feedback directly on the assessment document in a different colour ink or font if marking electronically. The learner can then amend or add their answer directly underneath your comments. This is a great way to show NCFE the progression that the learner has made, and it shows the audit trail of feedback too, which they like to see when they carry out your moderation. Once the learner has completed their final assessment submission, you will mark their work. Once you've marked it, you will then need somebody else from within the school to internally quality assure the marking. This person should be occupationally competent or have a knowledge of the subject area, but should not be somebody that has been involved in the original marking of the work or the delivery. Alternative evidence. Reasonable adjustments may be made to the way in which assessment evidence is captured. For example, if you have learners that struggle with written work, you may wish to video record them answering the assessment questions instead. You would need to make sure that you keep this recording and be able to show it as evidence during moderation. It is important to note here that although you can change the method of answering the assessment questions, you must not change the assessment question at all. This is because the assessments have been carefully curated to ensure they hit every single assessment criteria that needs to be covered in order to gain the qualification, and we've been through a rigorous process with NCFE to ensure the assessments are fit for purpose. If you change the assessment question in any way, they may no longer meet the assessment criteria and therefore your learners would not gain the qualification at the end. So it is really important to remember not to change the assessment questions. Quality assurance. Quality assurance is the process by which NCFE confirms that assessment decisions in centres are made by competent and qualified assessors, the product of sound and fair assessment practice, recorded accurately and appropriately. This is achieved through internal quality assurance, which is carried out by the centre, external quality assurance, which NCFE carry out through an external quality assurer, EQA, who will make sure that the assessments meet nationally agreed standards and that the centre's quality assurance systems continue to meet NCFE's approval criteria. Once you've carried out your internal quality assurance, IQA, on a learner's completed assessment evidence, the final stage of the process is your external quality assurance visit. It is a good idea to book this in advance, as NCFE do get booked up quite quickly. You are entitled to 2 visits per year from your EQA as part of your annual NCFE Centre Approval fee. Your external quality assurance visit will normally take place in person, but sometimes can take place remotely. On QualHub, there is a section that helps to prepare you for the EQA visit, which you may find helpful. The key things that the EQA will be checking are your internal quality assurance process, a sample of completed portfolios to check your assessment decisions. You will need to have all the learner work available for the EQA to take their sample from. During the visit, your EQA may also want to look at additional information from you, such as your school policies, CPD records, staff CVs, schemes of work. Please remember that you can use iAchieve as evidence of your scheme of work, and all EQAs should be familiar with iAchieve. If the EQA agrees that the sampled portfolio of evidence demonstrate achievement of all learning outcomes and assessment criteria, then a certificate claim may be made. Learners who aren't successful can resubmit work within the registration period, however, a charge may apply. A credit certificate can be requested for learners who don't achieve their full qualification but who have achieved at least one whole unit. Summary. In summary, the qualification is made up of 3 units. All 3 units are internally assessed. Assessments for all 3 units can be found on the iAchieve platform. If learners complete only the first unit of this qualification, Unit 1, Equality and Diversity in Society, they can achieve the NCFE Level 2 award in Equality and Diversity, which is the equivalent to half a B grade GCSE and worth 23 capped points. To achieve the full Level 2 certificate, they must successfully complete all 3 units. If you need any further help or guidance, please get in touch by emailing info@iachieve.org.uk.